Hi, I'm Ashley Brown, host of A Women's Place. Throughout my role as the director of the Women's Resource Center, I'm constantly meeting new and interesting people, which is great because it brings new and interesting programs to the center. And in my travels, I had the pleasure to meet Gail Condrick, who's CEO of Gail Visions. So welcome.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you.
So Gail Visions, when we started having the conversation, and we met on Longboat Key, of what you do, and you do life coaching as well as NEO, which is a form of movement and dance. And when I did a little more research, you're an archetypal coach.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about archetypal coaching.
Oh, great. Well, archetypal coaching is a concept that we all have a purpose, and that we're all here with that purpose, and that in order for us to fulfill that purpose, we're going to meet the people that we need to meet. We're going to be in positions where we will find a way to succeed, to fulfill our life purpose, and that's all directed through archetypal patterns. And an archetypal pattern is something that would be very familiar to you. So, for example, let's say I say to you, Ashley, she is such a queen. Does that?
I think that's been
okay.
said before.
What comes to your head? Diva, queen.
Yes.
But some images come to your head of what does it mean to be a queen, and so we all agree on what the concept is. What is the meaning of the word? And archetypes have been around since Plato.
So a long time.
It's a long time. So there's nothing new about the archetype and the archetypal patterns. And Carl Jung used them as well. And what I do with people is to say to them, you know, you have a certain archetype that you're presenting to the world and that you're representing. And if you know more about it, it's going to help you.
And it kind of goes along the same theory of the Myers-Briggs. You've said it's the Myers-Briggs for the soul.
Yes.
That when you know what your strengths are, or you know your archetype or your personality type, you work better in your role and just in your life in general. So it's interesting to get connected with what is your norm, for lack of a better word.
What I think about on the archetypes is that they've been with us for all of our lives, and there's so much a part of you that what I say to people is it's just like your skin. You know, you don't think anymore that my skin is containing my blood and my bones and my muscles. It's so much who I am that I just project it. I don't think about it. Well, that's the same thing as the archetypes. If you've had an archetypal pattern, you've had it from the day you were born. And it has influenced you and the way you see the world. And so knowing that that's the way that you see the world and that others see you can really be a wonderful way to not only move ahead, but to move back, to take a look and say, ah, that's why that happened to me, or it needed to happen to me for me to move forward.
And moving forward being really, I think, the key for everyone to have a happy life, which kind of goes to when we met, you said you were working on, and if I get this wrong, I know you'll correct me, transformation in paradise?
Transformations in paradise.
And just that statement piqued my interest to say, that it sounds like something that you'd want to participate in and do. And it made me start thinking of all of the people in our area in particular that move here for a retirement happiness, and 3 months later they're twiddling their thumbs going, why isn't retirement fun? Or a different stage in your life. And when I was looking at your bio, getting prepared for today, I saw the different transformations in your life. So it's really interesting to see, everyone goes through them, and how to make the best of them. So I was wondering if you'd tell us a little what led you to the transformations in Paradise.
Well, I think that I, like everyone else, I'm living my life story, and in the process of that, I'm experiencing my transformation here in Paradise. And I realize that what I'm bringing to the table is a journey that many others have gone through in different ways. So when I think about the transformations in Paradise, I wanted to come up with a holistic view of what that might mean. And so I created some programs that I have been studying that include mind-body practices, education, like the archetypes and life coaching, soul coaching, really, and also something that would bring together mind, body, and spirit. That's the work that I have done, and I find in teaching classes and workshops and retreats that it is also the path of many women. And I tend to specialize with women and women's groups, although this is also very much open to men. And
do you find that people, when they're going through, I'm going to call it a transition, that there's an ending of a job or there's ending of a relationship or onto a new phase, that people tend to find change very debilitating? And so is this looking at the change as an opportunity? Is that?
Well, it is looking at the change as an opportunity, but it's also looking at the change as to go deeper into it. We can always talk about change and transition as opportunity, but when you're in the middle of it, it's painful. And I think that accepting that it's painful and understanding that there's a reason for this discomfort, and I can make a choice right now. I can stay in the discomfort and I can stay in a position of, well, this happened to me. I can feel victimized, or I can find a way to feel empowered. And what I like to do is to help people see how to move into that empowerment, but still recognizing that there really is a time to grieve and to let go of things. And if you miss that step, you've missed an important step. But is there brightness and happiness on the other side? Well, I certainly hope so. And certainly, you know, finding what is my life purpose, why am I here, is a big part of that.
Well, when we were speaking earlier this morning, I made the comment that I don't know anyone who hasn't been through something.
Yeah.
So I think being able to, it's always easy to look and say, oh, well, look, she's so together and so attractive and is going, what, she wouldn't know anything about struggle or change, when the reality is we all have. Yeah. We've all been through something that has set us back.
Yes, and I think that aspect of finding out what is it and really looking at people, I agree with you completely. I think that I do that myself, and I've had others project it on me, which is taking a look and saying, well, she's got it all together. She knows what she's doing, and she's never experienced the types of things that I have. And I think that's a form of really accepting that something has happened to me instead of for me. And so finding out that everybody has life challenges, and some people may project or cover it up better than others, and you make an assumption that because they're successful today or they emanate success, that they've always had that. And that's not the case. And I had the fortune to attend your recent luncheon, and there were women speaking about how they had benefited from the Resource Center, which was very inspiring. And at the same time, I realized that those life stories were just one breath away from almost everyone that I know.
Absolutely.
Everybody I know. And so taking this information and saying, how can I be stronger with this? Where can I go with this, and what can I do, is what it's all about.
And to go back just a second when you said we get in the victim mode of, this has happened to me. One of my favorite stories, and I think Judy Sedgman told me this story, that she was doing a group and it was lots of different issues, but this one particular woman was talking about her ex-husband and had gone through a difficult, painful divorce. And the way that she was talking about it, it was almost like, so he's still in the house and you're trying to figure out how this is going to work. It had been 12 years.
Oh.
So I think that sometimes we have the tendency when something bad happens to hold on to that and let that define us.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is really important to helping people see what has happened, take the lesson and move forward to that new bright place.
Yes, exactly.
And who knows what's around the next corner.
Who knows what's coming next?
Yes.
And that issue of archetypes and victimization is that sometimes that we tend to find comfort. We get into that role of victim, and on a very unconscious level, we might get a lot of support as a victim. And I don't mean just the support that you need to move forward, that without heart, but I mean that suddenly you find that you are getting attention in that role, and it makes you want to stay there. And so the actual personal growth pattern of the victim in the coaching program that I do is that the victim is truly about self-empowerment and self-esteem, that it is about creating healthy boundaries and moving forward and seeing, this situation or this life change may make me feel like a victim, but I know that I can, where I won't be victimized any longer, and stand up and say, this is it, and then open the door to what's next.
One of the opportunities I think that we have living on the Sun Coast is there are so many people that move here, and younger, retiring and wanting to live the latter part of their life in a place that's got a lot going on with arts and business and different opportunities. So I want to talk a little bit about Ageless Grace. And every time I say it, I think I'm saying we're not aging gracefully, but it's really the opposite.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what the premise of it is. And we're going to be doing it at the Women's Resource Center, which we're really excited about.
Well, I'm excited about bringing it to you, too. Well, Ageless Grace has a subtitle, and the subtitle is 21 Tools for Lifelong Comfort and Ease. 21 tools for lifelong comfort and ease.
And comfort and ease, that just makes me feel better thinking.
Yeah.
Those are nice words. Ease, and yes, so that's a great subtitle.
And this was created by Denise Medved, who is a longtime pioneer and expert in mind-body fitness. And from day one, Denise had a real interest in how people age. And what she did was she started a gerontology master's degree program. And she was so disappointed in the program because she thought it would be about how we can age more effectively.
She started as a student.
She started she took a master's degree in this program for gerontology, and what she found out was that the entire program was about how we could create things to live with aging, as if there were certain things that would happen to us and the body that were going to be not reversible.
So it was a given.
It was a given. So it was a given that you would need a tool to tie your shoelaces. It was a given that you would need to move into a home where everything was on a level so that you'd never have to reach up or reach down for anything. It would all be parallel. All of these things she took a look at and said, well, wait a minute, isn't there a better way? So this program of Ageless Grace is based on science and research for the aspects that happen to the body and to the brain as we age. And each one of them she took and she made into a seated chair exercise program. And the idea behind this is that fitness and wellness can be done at any age, and that the goal as you age can also be, what I really want is not necessarily to be on the treadmill. What I want is to be able to reach up on the top shelf and get a can. I want to be able to lean down and play with my grandchildren on the floor. I want to be able to walk. I want to die healthy. I want my whole body to be involved and my brain. And there's been recent science that suggests that things like puzzles, like Sudoku is very, is very popular. It's wonderful, but it's not enough. That you need to engage the body at the same time. So these are movement practices. There's 21 of them. They're movement practices, and they're so much fun. I laughed all the way through my training. I've never had a training where I laughed for a weekend, but I did with this. It's fun. People enjoy it. There's music, and you trick your brain and you move your body so that after your class, you begin to feel like, my goodness, if I can draw triangles in the air with my hands and circles with my feet and spell my name with my nose and backwards and forwards, then my brain is saying, whoa, what happened? And what we're doing is we're increasing the neuroplasticity. All of the synapses in the brain are firing across, saying, what just happened? This is impossible. And so we do tricks and things like that to wake you up. And when I'm feeling after a class, I feel tingly all over, and I feel very alert. So then when I go out into my life, and maybe there's a step and I stumble over the step, I can quickly regain my balance, because my brain has just spent 30 minutes moving through things that are almost physically impossible to do, and you're not supposed to be able to do them. It's a challenge to the brain. And so when I come across something like a step, I can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it was really, from her point of view, looking at changing the paradigm of what aging means.
Exactly. Her goal is to change the face of aging in America. Change the face of aging in America.
Well, and with healthcare being what it is, we do need to be thinking more about the overall wellness, because I can't imagine having your full faculties and your body not working with you.
That's exactly right.
Having full physical faculties in your mind not being there. And with Alzheimer's being more and more prevalent, I think it's important to be looking at how do you work the brain.
Yes, and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, arthritis, people who are recovering from any sports injury of any age, who need to be in a seated chair, people who are beginning a fitness and wellness program and want to be able to do something to build up their stamina even before they do a more vigorous program. In fact, she's now has an offshoot for Ageless Grace. It's coming out this year. And it's called Ageless Grace for Kids. And isn't that a wonderful idea, with all the cutbacks in funding in the school systems, to be able to have something where all you need is a chair and some music and 10 minutes a day, and you're working the 200 bones, 700 muscles.
And that, well, yeah, that is amazing.
10
Sorry,
minutes.
my brain, see?
Yeah.
I need
Hello.
it because my brain was lagging on that. The way we're going to do it at the center, because that's what I want to give people the opportunity to know what they can participate in. We're starting with a seminar.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about how, is it several hours, and what can people expect from
We're
this?
going to do a 4-hour Ageless Grace seminar. And what that's going to include is introduction to each of the 21 tools of Ageless Grace. So in that 4 hours, you'll be introduced and you'll practice the 21 tools. And then you're going to get a piece of paper which you'll write on. It'll show, what parts of my body are stiff, or where do I need improvement. And you'll use the form and you'll mark that on the form of where you are. That's your before stage. And then you're going to take the 21-day challenge. And the 21-day challenge, a challenge. The 21-day challenge is designed for you to have an opportunity to do 10 minutes a day, just that's it. Denise says if you do more than 10 minutes a day, she doesn't want to hear about it. 10 minutes a day, because then it becomes a habit. It's like brushing your teeth or flossing your teeth. So for 10 minutes a day for the next 21 days, then you're going to do, it's roughly about 3 of the 21 exercises a day. And at the end of the week, you will have done all 21. Okay, so you will do those 21 exercises. Now what we're going to do at the Resource Center is the 4-hour kickoff of the 21 tools, and then we will have, over the weeks that follow, a weekly class for the 21 days to see how people have done. And at the end, they will fill out a form with their after, and they'll see.
Well, and for you all watching, on our website, which is wrcmanatee.org, we'll have information and how to register for the class on February 4th, which is a good time. It gives you time to get over the holidays and then your New Year's resolutions and to break your New Year's resolutions. So by February, you're ready to start again. But so starting February 4th, which is a Saturday, so it's good for people working, not working. And I like the 10 minutes a day is not such an aggressive goal. You can find 10 minutes, even if you're working, sitting at your desk, because if it's in a chair, you're halfway there.
That's right, you can do it anywhere, Ashley. And the 10 minutes a day is designed to make this a lifelong practice, just like brushing your teeth.
And are there building blocks that you start with the initial 21 and then you add 2? Because I would imagine your brain, does it catch up and then you add different levels? Or?
It stays at 21, but what you'll find is within each of the tools that you get a chance to be inventive and creative, put on some different music, which might make you move a little differently. You know, for example, one of the tools is called body math. And we could do a little bit if you want right here. And you would go
okay.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and have the other hand 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Now 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
My brain's already
1 and 2, 1 and 2. So you can come up with patterns. It's a challenge. And isn't that fun? I mean, you know, and if you put your favorite music on, so then you're moving to what you like to listen to, whatever that is. And there's another tool called Spelling Bee, and you can
and math. Oh my gosh, Gail.
Bee, I know spelling, but Spelling Bee you do with your body. So you might do it with your hand. You might spell your name in space.
I've been thinking about how to spell my name with my nose since you said that.
That's so perfect.
I'm not doing it on camera, but once we get out of here, I'm going to have to try that.
And some people use that to learn a language. So each day, maybe you're learning Spanish. So your Spelling Bee may be, oh, I'm going to pick a word today, or a phrase for the week, and by the end of the week, I'll have a new word.
And we were, as an aside, we were having a conversation about language.
Yes.
And the ability to grasp languages and starting at a very young age. So that's interesting too, because it's so uncomfortable as you get older to try to learn a new language unless you just have an affinity, which I think is a pretty small. So, but I never thought about that in terms for purely exercising your brain muscle.
Yes.
That's a good idea because it's difficult. We tried to do a Spanish class and all I got from it was Uf Pedro. But that I've got down. So, but just looking at things differently and how to make your life, to live it to the fullest, I think is your underlying thing as well.
Live it to the fullest all of your life, from children, from childhood on. And the wonderful thing about this program is it really does make you feel playful and childlike. And Denise has an exercise where she says, let's see if we can find where the sense of humor is located in the body.
That's an important tool that can get you through a lot of things.
Oh, it really is.
If you can laugh at things, it makes it a little better. And if everyone's laughing with you, that's also easier.
Yes.
And you mentioned, but I want to say again, age is not a limitation.
No.
This is for all age groups, working, not working.
Absolutely. all age groups, working, not working, for your own fitness, for your own moving, your brain and body fitness. And also, and I think I've mentioned to you that these seminars are designed for exposure, but for someone who wants to go deeper and to actually make this a career path, I think it has a huge potential, particularly here in Florida, whether you're working one-on-one with a person or with a group of seniors. And it's a fabulous way to think about, oh, this program might be perfect for me. It might be something that I'm interested in learning more about and becoming an Ageless Grace educator. And notice that's what she calls us, Ageless Grace educators. So as you go through the class, you're going to be learning more about your body and your brain and the way things work and staying healthy. And
the cost for this seminar, the 4-hour seminar, there's a cost that's set by Ageless Grace.
Yes.
And that is?
It's $55.
So that's $55. And then the classes we're doing, if you're a member of the Women's Resource Center, it's $5. If you're not a member, it's $8.
Yes.
So it's not a big expense to really gain some tools that can help you as you're
Well, and I have a surprise for you. What I'm going to offer is for anybody who comes to the seminar and the 3 classes, that they will have a drawing for some of the Ageless Grace products at the end. Their name will go into a hat for the Ageless Grace products.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Which is the scarf one?
It is. Actually, the scarf is one. But also, there's not only fashion, there's the DVDs, and there's a book, and then there's a small deck of flashcards that are fun to just pick one each day and say, oh, this is the one that I want to do today. This is the tool.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. That's really nice.
It'd be fun.
I know. Yeah. And I think it's important that we all keep in mind, too, whether it's you want to participate in the Ageless Grace or whether you're finding yourself going through a transition, that the uncomfortable part of transition passes and that you need to work through and see it as the opportunity that it is. Because if we polled people in the Bradenton-Sarasota region, I like to see their different life paths that they've had. And usually it's 1 to 3 careers that they've done that are just completely different, but a couple of common denominators. So you never know what that next opportunity is going to be.
No, you don't. And I love the idea of transitions and transformations, and particularly in this area, I think so many of us, including myself, come looking for a new life, a different life, and want to create that life with all the skills that we have. And so leaving behind and moving on is in itself a skill.
I would agree. And I'm checking our time because I just want to make sure that people, for you, aside from Ageless Grace, the Transformations in Paradise or the coaching, all of your information is available on your website, which give that to us again, and they're going to flash it on the screen.
It's called galavisions.com.
And it is
galavisions.com.
Yes, which you can find your bio and interesting things, which is very nice. And then for the class at the Women's Resource Center, it's www.wrcmanatee.org, and there'll be a link to register for the seminar. If you can't do the 4-hour seminar, anybody can join on the individual or the weekly sessions, and it's going to be group sessions. Yes. So I think that's important to note, that if that was the stumbling block of, darn, I already have something for February 4th, that people can pop into the classes.
Yes, absolutely.
So very good. And we should thank Harry's Continental Kitchens for doing that wine tasting that benefited the center, which is where we met. And I think that just like this relationship has started, being open to the people you're meeting and the opportunities they bring to you as well, because you never know where they're going to lead. Oh, absolutely. I am very grateful that you and I met, and I think that it's going to be wonderful working with you. And that's an archetypal issue. Absolutely. Be attentive. What's offered to me? Be attentive and say yes. And say yes. Not? Just say yes. I know. So, and I would like to thank all of you for joining us on A Woman's Place. And thank you to METV, as always, for allowing us to come and share what's going on in our community and for the women in our community. And be sure to visit us online to register for Ageless Grace on February 4th. And I hope everyone's having a happy holiday. Thank you for coming, Gail.
Thank you, Ashley.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.